and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika and this is the 7th episode. There's been a little while since the last episode, 2 weeks approximately, due to my schedule being too busy to film last week. But yeah, now I'm here. I do actually have a lot of things I want to talk about, so I'm just gonna dive right in. We can start with what I'm wearing. This is a finished object from a few weeks ago. It's my all-over cable sweater. It's my own design. And it's made out of Lykkegarn merino ull in the colorway Mars. So yeah. Before I talk about my whips, that's here, I actually want to talk about some of my previous projects that you have seen that I am thinking about changing or fixing. One of them is, I don't actually know if you have seen this sweater before, but I'm gonna pop up a picture so you can know the entire thing, because it's very difficult to show a sweater on camera. But it is, let me see, I'm just gonna check that I'm actually showing you the right way. This is the back. This is one of the first sweaters I made. This one is made out of double Sunday, which I think is Sandnes garn, in 2 different colors obviously, the purple and the blue, with very nice raglan details that actually under the arm converge, which I like. I'm sorry if you can hear my husband in the background, he's just walking around talking with the cat. And also I have double cuff and double collar, and also the hem is double, which is kind of the things I want to change, because this sweater is made out of leftover yarn. I was supposed to make a blanket out of it, but redecided in the very last second, so I had already started using it for other things. I've even made, I think, 2 pairs of socks with the blue one, even though it's not sock yarn, so they wore out very quickly. But eventually I realized I had enough yarn to actually make a sweater, even though I didn't have enough of either to like make it whole. So I just decided I wanted the blue details, because I think it's pretty, which it is. But there are things I don't. Now that I have knit more sweaters, I know I want them a bit different. One thing is, I did decrease for the sleeves, but I didn't decrease enough. They are very, very big, as you can probably tell. Like, that's a lot of sleeve, at least compared to like the other one that I'm wearing. It's super big. Also, I didn't do any rapid increases before the cuff, so I want to change that. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick back up both sleeves and do more rapid decreases, so I get them more fitted around the sleeve, and then I'm gonna do some rapid decreases right before the cuff to get it snugger, and that way I will have longer cuffs, because the blue yarn is on both sides. But I want it longer. I think I might even do the inside in the purple and then do only the blue on the outside to try and get more out of the blue, because I also want to have, that's the wrong way. I think the color is too shallow too, and I want it bigger. Also, I didn't do the best job. The reason this is the back is because it's very clearly tighter right here compared to the rest. So just because I feel it shows quite noticeably. I wanted it to like not show that well. Maybe when I pick it back up I might, because this is also knit top down, but I don't find any trouble with just cutting out the collar, ripping it up, and using the yarn again. Which I will now do, but I will probably also, because I will have some purple yarn left over from the sleeves, I will use purple on the inside and then change to the blue to get like a taller folded over cuff or collar. The bottom I'm more worried about, because I also want that one to be longer, but I think my solution there will be not to have a double. Probably. Depending on how much I have left, I might be able to extend it by knitting all the purple I have and then all the blue that I have left over. But more than likely I will just take out the stitches I've done and block it and see if that gives me the length I want, and also if it still looks relatively good. That's my plan, at least, because I think they are too shallow. I might also, if maybe I might slim the body down a tiny bit or do some rapid decreases right before the hem. The body is quite big. This is really oversized on me, but I actually like that. It is super nice, super cozy. It's like, yeah, it's very cozy. I'm just not happy with the hem and cuff and sleeve situation and also the collar. So yeah, that's one of the things I want to fix. I don't know when I will do it. I usually do some fixes throughout the year, but I might save these for like New Year's kind of thing. Mostly because this is the only sweater out of all of the things I'm gonna fix that I'm gonna use before Christmas, probably before the New Year. So I don't think this is a problem that is such a big problem. It's not wearable. It's just I might not leave the house in it because I'm not that pleased with everything. This one, on the other hand, I leave the house with all the time, and I love. Really, really love. But okay, that's the first thing I want to fix. The other one is, this is my summer cardigan. And the only thing I want to fix with this is I'm gonna remove the buttons and find lighter buttons, because they kind of like drag everything down. They're super heavy, and also the bottom one, because it's so heavy, this one has a tendency to like fall to the floor and always land on this button, so the pearl thing has fallen off, and I have already glued it like twice. So since I have to I have to remove this button anyway, I was sitting there like, I'm not 100% happy with the buttons. They are super pretty, but they are way too heavy. And I kind of knew that as soon as I put them in, but I really, really, really wanted to wear them straight away. This cardigan straight away. So I never did. Yeah. I just noticed that I can't see my scissors here. I'm probably... I'll find them afterwards. I might do this while talking about something else during the podcast, because I'm just gonna snip them out. And I have some leftover yarn here. It's not even leftover, I just bought a lot of this white yarn when I decided I was gonna try it because I really loved it. So I have a lot left over that I don't know what I'm gonna do with yet. But that's not a big problem, to be honest. But yeah, I really love this cardigan. I want it to be perfect. I'm probably gonna find some really cute, flat, light plastic buttons that are white with a slight shimmer to still have it like a tiny bit elevated in look. But yeah. Also, I want to draw attention to the pearl bump button band, because I find it very pretty. I really love that detail, which actually is a reason why I want to change a different project, because this cardigan has kind of a sister project, which is this singlet. And I did mention when it was done that the armhole is way too deep. And the only thing I needed to do to fix the depth was actually just halve this, like the strap. But after thinking about it now for quite a while, I have decided that I don't like the pedal thing on the shoulder, because I find it very difficult to make it lay flat and nice. So I'm gonna remove this part entirely and instead have sleeves that or like straps that are made out of pearl bumps, the same way that the button band in the cardigan, to make them even more matchy, which is kind of cute. And also then remove this problem. And when I'm done with that, I can still have the debate I'm still on, whether or not to add an I-cord border on either side. I haven't decided. I want to see when I'm going to use it, if I would prefer that or not. And this is not something I'm going to use until springtime, because, well, the snow is back. I don't remember if last time I filmed was when it snowed the first time, or if it then went away and came back. That's just how it is in the climate where we live. There's a lot of back and forth when it comes to snow, but the past 2 weeks there's been a lot of snow, and I enjoy it. But that also means that my summer knits won't be worn at all. So yeah, those are the projects I'm gonna try and fix. This is very common for me. Most of my knits are not permanent knits. There's always things I want to fix or change when I have used them for a while, because you never know exactly what you prefer until you're like worn it for a while. And most of the knits I've had before have either been store-bought or gift from my grandma or mom, and I wouldn't change anything with them because they were gifts. Those are perfect in my eyes, but that's not necessarily how I would have done it if I knit them, and that's just something you have to like learn as you go along. Sometimes you want to change things, sometimes you don't, and sometimes it's like, okay, this was the first sweater I ever made. It's perfect in the sense that it is the first version, and I might knit like 100 more, and they will slowly evolve out over time. The only reason I really want to change the purple one is because I wouldn't leave the house in it, and that's kind of sad, because I want to be able to leave the house with all my knits. So yeah, now we can go to the actual whip pile, which is kind of funny. I'm gonna start with what's on top, which is a pair of socks that you have seen before. Wow, I am getting all tangled up again. That's that happens every time. But yeah, I have gotten quite far. I have done the heel flap, the heel turn, and I have started on the gusset on both. Last time I had done most of the heel flap on both of them, and then started on the heel turn and realized that I had made a mistake in calculating how many stitches I had, because I thought I was knitting it in a size smaller than it was. I'm still using 64 stitches on these socks, even though I have learned afterwards that probably 56 is a better number for me. But I started these ones before I finished. I started and finished a different pair where I used 56 stitches. So yeah, which is actually the pair I'm wearing now, and they're already getting quite worn out, which I actually love because it means that I'm using it a lot. But yeah, these two socks. Oh, I'm gonna do that afterwards. These two socks are made out of two different types of yarn. This peach color is Life in the Long Grass in the colorway Angel City. And I think the skeins called singles or something like that. These are just fingering weight, no nylon in them at all, not sock yarn type of thing. This other one is Mrs. Fox Glitter Merino, yeah, because it's got glitter in it. And this is the colorway kald skulder, which is cold shoulder in English. These socks I have had some progress on. I have realized I do not enjoy knitting this small circumference things, and actually the heel turn and gusset part is the most annoying. It's not that bad when you only do the like knit in the round if I don't have to think, but I do find my hands get a bit tired. And also I got really bored of this project at one point, so I was like seriously considering ripping it out, except for the fact that I knew I needed more socks. So yeah, these are the sock project I have right now, only sock project. I'm gonna put it away. I'm actually gonna put it away down here. I forgot to say with the singlet and the cardigan, this is Viking bamboo, which I have shown previously. I just wanted to mention it in case someone wanted to know. This is 50% cotton, 50% bamboo, and to be honest, it's a lot lighter than 100% cotton, which is why I really love it, and also why I want to change the buttons on the cardigan, because the cardigan now feels very heavy, kind of like if it was 100% cotton, and it's not. So I really want to change that. Yeah. Before I show the next project, I'm just gonna comment on two things. I have, in the past 2 weeks, started and frogged 2 projects. One of them was the start of a Christmas hat, which I originally tried to do in... Oh, this was difficult again. That yarn, this red one, with some yarn I had bought. It's actually this yarn that I bought. So I had the red one already from Lykkegarn. The reason why I decided on that is because when I started knitting with this red one with white and also black yarn, because I have a pattern, I'm gonna pop the pattern up here. It's on a picture of the pattern. It's not an actual knitting pattern, it's just a color work that I'm inspired by. The reason why I ripped it out was because that red color seemed too orange when I started working it up, and I didn't like it. It didn't seem quite Christmassy enough, I guess. And I knew I wasn't going to be 100% happy, and if I'm not 100% happy, I'm not going to use it. And then I just have to rip it out and knit it again. So I think I knit only like part of the brim, and I did it in double knitting because I wanted it to be double layer. And everything about the project at that moment was just not fun. The color was wrong. I didn't like the double knitting part because it took me ages, and I just overall was not happy. But I still wanted a Christmas hat. I still wanted like a yeah. So I decided to pivot and do something different. I bought red in the same yarn I already had decided to start using. And because I didn't want to do the double knitting, I decided to take some inspiration from the Musselburgh hat. I do not own that pattern, but I have seen a lot of podcasts with a lot of people knitting it, and as far as I have understood is you start at the crown, you knit a big tube, and then you kind of do the crown again, and then you put one part inside the other. And I decided I'm gonna do that. Partly because the inside I'm knitting more like a hat, tight-fitting hat, and then when I'm knitting the outside I'm gonna decrease a lot more slowly, so it will actually be like, except it will hang down and have a tassel at the end. So at the moment I have actually gotten quite far, because I have knit almost all of the inside and almost all of the brim, because what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try and show this without losing the needles. I'm gonna flip it inside out. So this is like the inside of the hat, so the only part you will see is like the right side. And then I'm gonna flip this part up. And then when I start on the color work part, I can also flip this part up, so I still get like the double brim thing, which I really like. I still have quite a ways to go before I can actually start on the color work, but I have gotten quite far. And this I have only been knitting on for 2 days. So you can see that this has definitely been my priority knit the last few days. The very top of it I have in white, because I know I'm gonna have white on the very tip of the other hat, or other side of the hat, and I wanted to be able to do two things. If I want the part that's hanging down to be shorter, I can just stuff more of this into the other part, and in case I stuff this all the way up, I don't want it to show red through the white at the end. I don't think I'm ever gonna stuff it that far, but just to be safe. Also, it made it easier for me to see when I was done with increasing in 4, and then only did increasing on the 2 of the sides. The reason why I only increasing on 2 of the sides is actually because when I'm doing decreases on the other half, I'm only gonna do decreases on one side, and I want them to line up with one of these, so that it's not as noticeable. Yeah, that's like the plan. I don't know how well this is gonna work because I haven't done it before, but that's kind of like how all my projects go. So yeah, I am gonna try and have this project done in less than 2 weeks from now, because the choir I'm in is gonna sing at a mall, and I think it would be very cute to wear this hat, because we're singing outside of the mall, in the outdoors, so I would really like to look very festive but also stay warm and look cute. So yeah, that's my hope for this. Also, I don't care that I get this part here, and that would have annoyed me on the other hat, because this is the inside, it's not gonna show anyway. It's fine, nobody's gonna see it. So yeah, and that's the first project that I have been working on. The other project is that I started and ripped out was a shawl that was gonna last podcast video. I showed my blue shawl, which has these V's all along the stripes. I decided I wanted to knit a new one, and I decided to use this yarn, the one under the red, which is Ching Fiber Singles. I don't remember the colorway. I have it here. I have the label here. It's Ching Fiber in the colorway Pink Sky. 2 reasons I ripped it out. 1, the project was not enjoyable at all. I hated it. I do not know why, because I really enjoyed knitting the first one, but I think it might be because this is fingering weight instead of DK, because I used double Sunday, the same. The blue scarf is actually shawl is knit up in this blue color. Actually, the same yarn, double Sunday. So it is a lot thicker, it is cozy, all of that. It went a lot faster. I got as far as like knitting 2 stripes with the chink fiber, and thinking 1, it was not enjoyable at all, and 2, I didn't like the color combination. The contrast was too big. Actually, I'm gonna take it out. As you can see, this is a very unique color. It is very contrasty because it got both yellow and purple, which are on the opposite sides of the color wheel. And it also got some pink and orange in here. This is not my colors at all. It's too warm colored, there's too much yellow in this. I do not at all look good with this. At all. Not my colors. There are beautiful colors, not mine. Which is sad. But yeah. So I'm not gonna knit, I'm not gonna knit a triangle shawl, because I did not enjoy that process at all. I didn't like that I had to check when I was going to do increases, and because I had decided to do the increases less frequently, it wasn't like an increase on every right side as well on the other one, which I also on the other one kept forgetting, so it was very annoying. And this time it was like every other front side I was going to increase, and I had to always like stare, and because the increases was in the dark blue color, which you can't see actually because it's laying on top here, right on top of this one, but it's so dark you can't even see it. So I was always like having to sit in super like direct light, and also the yarn management with the Tarsha thing, it was just, no, I hated it. So I have decided I'm still gonna knit a scarf, but not with this one. I'm still gonna do the dark blue because I really like it, but I'm gonna do a different contrast color than this. And instead of knitting a triangle shawl, which means I always have to increase to get it bigger and bigger, I'm actually gonna make a scarf. So I'm just gonna do the I-cord start, pick up along the I-cord, and then knit straight up. I'm still gonna do broken rib on either side to make it what I'm gonna say, not roll, I guess, because if it's only stockinette, it's gonna roll even if it has I-cord edges. But I'm gonna make 2 changes compared to the shawl. I am gonna make the stripes in such a way that I have the dark blue main color as a stripe, and then I have the contrast color as a stripe, but the stripe is going all the way from the I-cord all the way over and back. So there will be no intarsia at all. Even the I-cord will have the contrast color. It will only have like 1 stripe of contrast color in the I-cord because you slip it once, so that will only be like a tiny part. And I'm still gonna do that triangle stitch pattern thing because I really enjoy it. So I have actually, do I have a drawing here? Probably not. No, I didn't bring it. I did a drawing to figure out how many stitches I needed to be able to do that triangle pattern and make it look relatively nice. So yeah, I just have to decide what contrast color I'm gonna use. I do have a lot of fingering yarn. All of this is sock yarn, and I have actually some more yarn there. That was not very easy to show. This is fingering yarn that's not sock yarn, while all of this is sock yarn, meaning it has nylon in it. While this on the shelf underneath is slightly mixed, but I know what does and doesn't have nylon in it. Like this one does not have any nylon, and it's slightly thinner than normal sock yarn, which I do not enjoy, to be honest. Also, it's very, very shiny, so I think it would look very good if I find something else that's also slightly a bit shiny, or super matte. Either or. Yeah. Okay, enough about that. And the rest of the projects you have seen before, and I'm gonna take out one that hasn't actually had a lot of progress at all. It's my PetiteKnit cardigan, the champagne cardigan. I think, yeah, I have knit like 1 round since last time. This is also in broken rib because it's a pattern I really enjoy. Also, it means I purl less because on the back side I do the 1 purl 1 knit thing. So yeah, this is the front side. I'm trying to always show you the front. This haven't had any. This is not a project I sit down and work on when I want to work on something creatively. This is something I kind of would sit down and do if I don't want to think. And lately, for some reason, I have wanted to think. So, yeah. Sorry about all the clacking again. I'm trying to avoid it. But yeah, this is made out of 100% acrylic. Yarn bought in Rusta, which they have discontinued now from my local store. I do not know if they have it in any other ones. It's called Ellen. So yeah, I haven't been able to get any more of it, but I have a lot, so that's not a big problem. So yeah, this is the PetiteKnit cardigan, the champagne cardigan. Yeah, I'm gonna put it away. Oh yeah, stop clacking. Good. I forgot to tell you about the Christmas hats. It is in babyull lanett, and I'm using 3 colors. At the moment I've only used the white and the red. The white one is 1001, and the red one is 4128. So yeah, that's those projects. From here on, I've actually had quite a lot of progress. This project is going to be a bit difficult to get out of my basket, because at the moment I have 2 yarn balls attached, which is always funny. This is my red sweater, and 2 things. I have had significant progress on the body. I say significant even though it's like an inch, less than an inch, maybe more like a centimeter, because it means like I have knit like 5 rounds or maybe even more, which when you have like 300 stitches is a lot. So yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of significant progress on the body, though it don't necessarily show. But the other part I do have a lot of progress on is I started on the collar. And I'm doing a double knit collar. This one is just showing me which side is the side I started. I have gotten more than halfway, and you can see I have a purl row, which is gonna be where I'm folding it. I haven't done that before, so this is exciting. I am actually gonna have like a purl bump row right here, and I think it's beautiful. This is a self-drafted pattern. It is a saddle shoulder construction in the yarn from Strikkekista, and in the colorway, no, in the yarn potential in the colorway Lollipop. Yeah. This is 50% silk, 50% merino, and I must just say, I love this yarn. It is slightly shimmery. It has red and purple and like pink stripes in it, and it's just, I love it. It's beautiful. I have really enjoyed knitting on this, even though it takes me ages. And this is also a no thinking project, but it's more like no thinking and no reading. Because the PetiteKnit pattern, I do actually have to read the pattern. So whenever I don't want to think, I just want to knit. I knit on this. And I have been changing between knitting the collar and knitting the body, because the collar is 1x1 grib. It doesn't necessarily need more concentration, but because the yarn is very thin, and because I have to like put the yarn in front of the needle and then back all the time, I have to make sure I don't split it, and also that I don't miss it. So I like have to pay attention when I do the collar, and if I don't want to like super pay attention, I knit the body. And I do more of the clickety-clackety part. This is my row counter, still love it. I actually realized recently, I think Strikkedronning is the brand name, actually. Because I saw this logo maybe a week ago, and I realized that there's a company called Strikkedronning, and I didn't know that. Strikkedronning means knitting queen. So I think this is actually their brand row counter, while some of the other ones are like still made at the same company, probably because I bought it at the same place, but they are with other type of bling, I guess, something other hanging from them. I still haven't added a row counter to the PetiteKnit pattern, which is how I know I actually haven't knit on it at all. But okay, I'm gonna try and get this yarn out of the basket in such a way that I can put it back later. So yeah, my last whip, I'm just gonna move this one. That's the pattern, so I'm just gonna move it. This is my sailor sweater, and this I have done significant progress on. Last time I had put on the collar, but I don't think I had. I think I barely started on the increases on the arm last time. Now I have actually gotten to knit in the round, and now this is basically a no thinking project, so you would think this would get more attention, but actually it hasn't, because I have so many projects at the moment where I don't need to think at all. I think actually what I do need to do is start a project where I do have to think a bit, just so that my mental health, I guess, don't get too bored and stuff like that. Yeah. If I don't think at all while knitting, eventually I will get bored, and then, yeah. Maybe that's why I need to start a scarf that I was talking about. But yeah. When I wash this one, I'm gonna try and get this collar to sit more flat, because it's kind of leaning, which is kind of annoying. But it leans the same way all around, so I guess that's just because my knit stitches kind of has a tendency to lean. But I think it will be quite easy to get that to lay more flat as soon as I block it. I don't think it's gonna be a big problem. Yeah. I have been trying a different method for getting jogless stripes than I have in the past, which is actually kind of like doing nothing. I'm just doing the I'm twisting the yarn here in the back around each other so that the tension gets tighter on the first and last stitch when I change color, slightly, so that they get more aligned, which, to be honest, is working a lot better than I thought it would. Because like you can slightly see where where I've changed the color, but like it's not too noticeable, and I'm kind of surprised. I have to make sure it's not too tight so that it like scrunches up, but at the moment, yeah, I'm actually a bit impressed with the fact that it shows so. It's almost invisible. And since it's gonna be down my side anyway, I don't think anyone's gonna notice, to be honest. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with that fact, actually. And this one, since I've been knitting so much on it, I'm gonna change the position of the marker straight away. The other projects, it's not that bad if I forget, because I don't have that much progress. But on this one, I have a lot, and I want to know if I knit a lot on it, or not just think I knit a lot. Oh, this was not so easy. There we go. So yeah, now I have the new marker. Well, it's the same marker, I just moved it. So yeah, this is my sailor sweater. It's knit up in 2 different types of yarn. The top one is Viking alpaca style, the white one. The turquoise one is Røma Me Too. The number colorways I will have had on the bottom here. You've seen it previously. So yeah, that is kind of all the whips I have at the moment and some of my plans. Yeah. One plan I have that I haven't started yet. Actually, I have a few plans, but I can talk about some of the things. The first plan, actually. I'm a bit all over the place. I bought this yarn a few days ago. Yeah, a few days ago, this week. This is Sandnes Garn Smart, which is superwash yarn, and it is very close to Double Sunday, which I do have here somewhere, but I do not know where. Oh yeah, here it is. This is Double Sunday. Different colorway, obviously. Double Sunday and this yarn has almost the exact same meterage. This one is 100 meters per 50 gram, this one is 108. So the superwash yarn is slightly less yardage, so it's slightly thicker. But when you compare them, you can see they are very similar. And since I do enjoy knitting with Double Sunday, I figured why not try knitting with superwash to see if that will alleviate the problem I have with Double Sundays being slightly too itchy sometimes. Because I want to knit a sweater. I bought a lot of this yarn. And I want to knit all over textured sweater, but not cabled. This one is cables all the way down, and the pattern goes this way, like vertically. With this yarn, I want to make the patterns horizontally, and also not use cables, but use like knits and purls to get a pattern. I haven't decided on what pattern yet, I am slightly inspired by all the other patterns that have come out recently with sections of different patterns. But I have to like think a bit to figure out what kind of pattern I want to use, because I do want to have a two panel repeating pattern. So like one here, and then 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way down. I have not decided if I want it to be raglan or if I want it to be like some other type of construction, saddle shoulder, or maybe even like my sailor sweater have like one stitch that goes down before, like as if you're knitting two panels together, kind of. That's a very traditional way of knitting, just knitting the front panel, back panel, and sewing them together. I haven't done that before, so I'm kind of curious. So yeah, I don't know yet. I just know I want it to be this color, because this color is definitely my color. I really, really, really love it. On the camera, this looks very petrol-ish colored, but it's actually more like leaning towards forest green. Very dark, but I love it. And I love it. So yeah, that's the plan for a sweater. That's for me. For once, I bought enough yarn to not have to like run around and see if I have any scraps I can use for the collar or hem or something like that. I'm just gonna use this one color. And yeah, I'm gonna have to think about how I'm gonna do things, I guess. Don't know exactly how it's gonna look yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. The other thing I'm thinking about is this weekend we have kind of like a Christmas market. They are calling it a Christmas market, so it is a Christmas market, but it's equivalent to the spring market that we have, where they sell a lot of yarn related stuff, fabric, porcelain, like cups and stuff like that. But also, because it's soon to be Christmas, they do sell a lot of Christmas decor stuff. And I have known about this for quite a while, so I have been saving up to buy more hand-dyed yarn. I have decided two things. I'm gonna try and avoid buying any sock yarn that's not a single color. A lot of the sock yarn I have is variegated in some way. I can have it tonal, but I don't want it to be like this yellow yarn. I don't know how easy to see, but it's yellow and pink. And I tried to do some color work with this yellow and pink yarn with this pink yarn, but the pink yarn was also pink and very, very light pink, almost white. So these two blended too much together when I tried to do the color work. Which is why I'm thinking I want a yellow sweater with pink collar and stuff like that. Though I am not gonna start a new fingering weight sweater before the red sweater that is like lace weight is done, because I can't. It's too much. Also, I think I've decided I want that to be a saddle shoulder too, but with the pink as a saddle. Maybe. Not quite decided, apparently. But yeah, I want to buy some sock yarn, but tonal, and I want to buy enough yarn in not fingering weight, but more like this one, which is like normal merino instead of the thin merino that Lykkegarn sells. Because I want to buy enough yarn to make more sweaters. At least 2. That's the plan. Those are for me. So, since before this year, haven't actually knit a lot of sweaters, I rarely have bought enough yarn to actually make a whole sweater. I have bought like 2 skeins, 3 skeins, a lot of single skeins, because I was planning on knitting socks, because that was mostly what I did before. But now I kind of want to buy thicker yarn, more of it, and be able to knit more sweaters. That's like what I want to do. So yeah, I do not know what colorways yet. I know I love this color. I do know that I need deep, dark colors to suit my complexion well. This is not my color. I still love it, but I do know it washes me out slightly more than what my colors would. But I bought this yarn before I knew that. So like, I am not a fan of dark purple, even though that's a color that suits me well. I just don't like that color, so I'm not gonna buy it. But I do love deep red, deep green, deep blue. Like that blue. Yeah, this dark blue. I only have 1 skein of, so I can't use that. I have finally gotten this green color that I really, really, really love, and I'm gonna knit a sweater out of. Dark red but not leaning purple would be nice. I don't know how easy it is to understand what I mean when I say I want it dark red, not leaning purple, because like, what would it then be? But yeah, I want them to be cool, cold colors, and I want them to be dark. Yeah. Those are the colors I really love. I would also like this color and this color are very similar, but this one is slightly darker and suits me better. This one has, well, when I see it now, this definitely is more petroleum than this, because this is very forest green. But this is still a good color for me. But I would really love to find a third green, which is more like emerald green, I guess. So yeah. Next podcast I'm gonna show the things I buy during this market, just for fun really. I go to these markets twice a year, one in the spring, one in the winter. This year I've actually gone to 2 more markets because I was really lucky to find them in time, but both of them were quite a while ago. So yeah, the red yarn for the red sweater is bought at the last market I went to, which was out of town actually. I had to take the bus for an hour, but it was close enough to I could justify it. I had time. It was a Saturday, and I was super happy with that yarn. I bought that red one, and I also bought, yeah, you can see it here, it's right behind me, 2 skeins of a white, beige, pinkish one, which I'm gonna knit t-shirt out of, probably. Maybe even more than 1 t-shirt. Depending on how much yarn I have left of the red, I might even make it striped. They're not the same thickness, which is why I haven't decided beforehand whether or not I will knit something with both of them. But yeah, those are my knitting plans, and also some of the plans for future acquisitions. Hopefully I will have started on at least 1 more sweater by next time, and I do hope my like Christmas hat is done by then. At least that's I want it to be done by next week, so I can start wearing it by December instead of by the concert, because that will be quite fun. But I'm not putting any time limit on that, because in my experience when I put time limits on my knits, I don't have as much fun with them. The black t-shirt, because I had to make so many changes, every time I was like, yes, I'm done, I can wear it. No, I can't. And then just, yeah, it got to a point where I just didn't enjoy knitting that t-shirt anymore, and that's kind of sad. So yeah, no pressure. I'm just gonna have fun. That's the plan. And yeah, maybe I have made some changes to some of my projects by next week. Maybe I haven't. I might have just removed the buttons from the cardigan, just so I can still use it but never close it. But we'll see. So yeah, thank you all for watching. This was quite fun. I missed it last week. And subscribe if you like this and like the video, please. And I'll see you next time. Bye.